Hey everybody, good to be live again. So we're starting in test, sound test, beep boop, sound test, cool, sounds good. I think also sound here. Test. Yeah, cool. So we're starting in, will be only a short stream, but before ending this week, I wanted to do a little anatomy refresher. So just doing a couple of sketches, improving anatomy skills, because that's always important when animating, especially fight scene stuff like that. Then it helps to be comfortable in sketching the human figure, the finger also, but also the figure. Cool. With that, let me show you. I prepared a little bit for you. Just a couple of resources I wanted to share. For example, the best thing, super free. You can also order the book, but you find it free on the internet. Is Loomis Anatomy. And that's a wonderful resource. So you just Google Loomis Anatomy and go on this first link here, for example. There also you find it also somewhere else. And here you have the full book version. It's super old, the book, but the fundamentals in here are amazing. You don't have to read all this text. You can, or just fly over it. But then at some point you will get to this section here. Yeah, well, you have a little introduction about the relationships from each body part, from the chin, for example, here the hip, the crotch, and yeah, how things are measured in an ideal proportion, just for yeah, study purpose. And this gives you already a super start, yeah, learning more about anatomy. And it's good to not start with this. You can, but it can be a little bit overwhelming to start immediately with all the muscles here, because first you want to understand what's below that. And yeah, there are different approaches, but I like the approach here from Loomis, where you have the simple measurement, and then you're sketching in, yeah, where the basic things are, the shoulders here, where's the hip, and yeah, give yourself a little bit of time, and yeah, to try these measurements. And one thing when learning anatomy, it will not be so valuable for you if you're just looking at these. So yeah, take just a piece of paper and a pen, and yeah, study these. And then after you've done that, you looked at this introduction here, you're going here and you start here with this little mannequin here, and sketch this down and try to, yeah, get a good, get the relationship of this figure here down on paper. That's a little bit the goal, to get a good feeling, like how much is this, like the shoulders here is the distance to the hip, to the knee. So study these, sketch these, and you can then do them as a warm-up also. So you study them, then in the next day you do them again and get slowly comfortable step by step in sketching this basic mannequin. Because after that, you will sketch them in different poses, and then you can increase a little bit the level of this mannequin and add a little bit more, a couple more of elements like the shoulder plate here on top of your rib cage. So it goes more into the direction on how the final body will look at the end. Yeah, sketch these, observe these, do one-to-one studies of these, and then you can start adding muscles on your basic mannequins. And yeah, it's not something you have to do in 1 day, in 2 days. Take your time. It can be over weeks, even over years, where you study anatomy and sketching these mannequins and add muscles on top. And then also don't study only this reference, but also others to study real reference. and then also study muscles. I will show you a couple of more resources in a second. But yeah, the guide here from Loomis is a fantastic start to learn more on how to sketch the figure and learn anatomy. Cool. Then this video here is lovely, and all the content from Jung Gi is super amazing. You find a couple of YouTube videos also where he was explaining how to go from a simple skeleton, for example, or this is the knowledge that helps then adding muscles on top. So to understand how is the rib cage constructed, how is the hip constructed, then you can always simplify it, for example, with simple boxes here, with simple shapes, and sketch them in perspective and then put muscles on top. That helps a lot. And yeah, he's a little bit showing his thought process that this is a construction that he has in mind when then sketching things and bringing them on paper. And I love these videos to observe like how a master studied anatomy. Is just wonderful. Yeah, super cool. So can highly recommend to look on content and videos Jung Gi did back then when he taught anatomy. Super cool. Then another channel you can check out is here Taco1704, and he has also books, I think, but he's also showing fantastic resources. I show it also in another stream. And yeah, these are also super helpful. You can check them out. And yeah, he has fantastic content out on different parts of anatomy and how to simplify them and how to study them. How to simplify complex muscles. These studies can also help you a lot, and then learning also how to construct these things. And of course, for example, this one, always practice perspective drawing if you want to draw the human body more realistic. It helps you a lot to feel comfortable in sketching in perspective. I can show you in a second also on the screen how to do that, or how to get better in that, and then sketching also the human body in perspective. But yeah, this channel also helps you a lot. Then also another one is this one from here, Emilio Alcala, if I'm writing it right. And he has super cool dynamic poses that he's sharing that are also fantastic to observe and study from. And also especially for then animation, to learn how to simplify a character. For example, that style helps you a lot when then doing animations. And I feel like, yeah, these poses have a lot of dynamic in them, and are cool to study, especially for animation purposes. Also super cool reference, and super a lot to learn from. Then another one was this one, Kato Anatomy, and he's also super color coding the anatomy drawings here. So you can just it's simplified, and it's not so overwhelming by simplifying it into these color buckets here. Super cool also. And this, you see this one here with muscles on top, and this is always the drawing or the idea behind it, where you want to take time also to do. It's similar to Loomis, like the mannequin here. There are different kind of mannequins. There's not one best mannequin. Depends also a little bit on the style you want to sketch in. And yeah, there are artists or illustrators, animators who like one style more, other artists like another style more. So no right or wrong there. And yeah, different perspectives here that are also super cool to study from. Then another one here is diluc. He's also doing cool, also not only anatomy, but also anatomy. Simplification and instructions on one pose, for example, here. Also super cool to learn from, to study from. Or for example, here the arm, how to break it down into simple shapes, like how is the joint actually working in the arm, everything here in one post. And to observe all these, sketching these, sketching these in different perspectives all is already great practice that will boost your anatomy and human figure drawing skills a lot. So yeah, sites like these are just wonderful. You can definitely check them out. Super cool. Can highly recommend it. Just looks lovely looking at all these sketches here. So check that out, and also these notes here, super cool. Okay, cool. Hello, Mr. Glassman. Hello, I'm here to learn again. Super cool. So we're just having a short stream today where we practice a little bit anatomy, and I'm just sharing a little bit on how to approach learning to sketch the human figure and anatomy. So yeah, that's a little bit the topic for today, and I also wanted to end the week a little bit with a couple of figure sketches. So that's the plan. Cool. So then we have also a simodasketch, and I like these little animation that simodasketch is making. I feel like also to recreate them is great practice. So not just only doing anatomy or figure drawing sketches and leave them, but also maybe turn it into a little animation. Can be also great practice to enhance a little bit your total skills in drawing or being able to draw the human body. Yeah, so check that also out. And the last thing I'm sharing today here as resources is Anatomy for Sculptors. These are also, like the name said, meant for sculptors, but I feel like every artist or everyone who's interested in anatomy can benefit from these here. So yeah, these are also super interesting to look at. For example, also yeah, rotated in 3D, how's the foot looking? And these are also already simplified here with different shapes and a little bit easier maybe to observe than a body. And also, yeah, how to see like how are the muscles, how do they look like actually behind or below the skin. So that's all also super great resources to study from. Yeah, or also the knee here is working simplified, the bones here, then with the muscles on top. Cool, also the face here in different planes. I feel like these resources helps a little bit with not being overwhelmed with the complexity that the human body is bringing. Yeah, or also here the muscles are working, and how the muscles here are actually connected to the arm is also super interesting. So these muscles here are connected here to the side of the arm and going over here, and then also stretching. And all this little information you can gather step by step by doing studies and sketching anatomy. And also a good thing I realized, not like do different kind of anatomy and figure drawings. So sometimes you're doing studies of reference like that, sometimes of reference like that, sometimes of reference like that, sometimes of reference like that. But then also takes the time, go out and sketch people, go to figure drawing classes if you want to get really good. But then also I feel like what's super cool, now let's jump into sketching mode. What's super cool then also is to not only do studies, but or like look at things you want to study, but do it also more yeah, from imagination. So I think that helps a lot. Yeah, so let's get into it, into the canvas here. We set everything up. Okay, so what I said, for example, this one here was sketched from imagination, and then also what's super helpful, for example, I will start now to refresh a little bit what I have learned. So yeah, sketching, to see just sketch from imagination, for example, the rib cage here, and see yeah, what's working good, what's not working good. and do some loose sketches here of the figure. For example, here, like similar to the mannequin I showed you from Loomis. That is also great practice. So yeah, have in there a little bit of a variation in your studies. And with that, you can get step by step better in sketching the human figure. For example, here I've sketched now loose a figure, and now I can decrease a little bit the opacity here, and now go on top and loosely add some muscles. And for example, now you will see there will be missing a couple of details, and that's a little bit the thing when not using reference. That it will be a little bit harder, of course, to sketch everything to the same amount of details than in comparison to using reference. But that's okay. So you see a little bit where you want to increase a little bit your studies. For example, a thing I have to do in the future is more studies of hands, actually. So my hands here will be only like a simplification because I'm lacking a lot of studies and knowledge on how the hand is actually constructed. But yeah, that's normal. Everyone has these little parts where he's not sure how something is actually constructed. But then just do a study and take your time and see how the human body is actually working. And with that, you can slowly build up your knowledge about the human body and construct it better. For example, this here is a little bit too high, so I'm just pulling it up here. Now this muscle goes here, catching here, simplifying it here. Then you have here a section here. And you have here the shoulder, somewhere here. Maybe something like that. Maybe the arm goes here. And with that, I can see, okay, where I'm struggling at the moment. And where do I have to do a couple more studies to improve my anatomy here. And I put the knee maybe here, like that. The knee. Maybe like that. And yeah, it's really a step-by-step thing. Getting slowly better and sketching these. And also a super cool thing, not everybody looks the same. Probably there's not one human or two humans that have exact one-to-one the same body. So yeah, at some point you also have a little bit of liberty to break a little bit the basic proportions, but in the beginning they're helping you as a guide to understand the relationship. Except, for example, below that, let's now put this one here to the side. Let's put this one here, and this one on top we put here so we see the comparison. Yeah, if you have any question, let me know in the chat if I'm going too fast. But yeah, you first want to get comfortable in sketching a mannequin like that, and then you can put muscles on top. What's helping with this mannequin is that you can take your time and get comfortable and a good feeling, for example, on the relationship from the rib cage, how much space you want to leave here, how much big you want to make the hip, how long you want to have your legs, how big will be the knee, how long will be this down section here. I feel like this one is also a little bit too short, So you can then, when sketching, also on top make it a little bit longer. Stuff like that. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So I was speaking so fast, rushing everything. So let me just go over one more time here. For example, we're sketching here. And then also first stay in 2D or from the side perspective, orthogonal, I think. I think that's the right word, but not the, the pronunciation was not right. Nevertheless, you can sketch here, start with the basic figure here, or basic rib cage. Then you're adding here a line, here, then you place your head, and stay super simple with your figure. And now you can think a little bit, okay, for example, here are my shoulder joints. Now where do I want to place the hip? Maybe here. Does this feel right? Not sure, but let's continue. And then I'm sketching here the joints from the hip. Okay, thinking, is this okay? Yes or no? Maybe I'm going to continue sketching here the joints from the elbow, which are ending approximately here. If I'm not sure, I can also go then again to Loomis and check that out. For example, going again to the reference from Loomis and seeing, was it right? Like where was what ending? Yes, okay. The joints are ending here. It's okay. So then I'm going back into sketching mode. Sketching here. My legs. And then the foot here, super simplified. And again, also my arms here. And yeah, that's a basic figure. And then you can bring a little bit more variety in. For example, you can then, we run out of space. Sketch again here, your rib cage. But maybe add here a little angle. Like that. Now I feel an angle added. And now I want to create here an angle. So I'm playing a little bit like with the weight of this character and on which foot he's standing. Now like that. Like that. Cool. And with that you can bring a little bit variation in. And yeah, things don't get too complex. And you still can build up slowly a better feeling on how the relationships of the body are actually to each other. Yeah, and then I could also say, okay, or I look at the sketch at the next day and see, okay, maybe this distance is a little bit too big. Let me do it again. So I'm then going again in, sketching it in, and now decrease a little bit the distance here. And with that, yeah, slowly making improvement in sketching the human figure. Cool. Then another thing that is helping a lot to then slowly learn how to sketch the human figure in perspective is to sketch here, for example, like one thing, or if you don't feel so comfortable in sketching in perspective, is of course you have to understand the fundamentals. So that meaning is like what are vanishing points. So this is the horizon, and I can't now explain how perspective in total is working. So just a little recap. So this is the horizon. This, for example, is vanishing point 1. This is vanishing point 2, and this would be now 2-point perspective. So just understanding that is one key requirement to sketch, of course, also then the body in perspective. But you don't have to sketch always the horizon in this. This would be awful. Nobody would draw if you always would have to sketch in the horizon. You just can also pretend that the horizon is super far away and is not on our canvas. So we just for demonstration purpose, I'm just pushing it away to the top. And now it's super far, kilometers far, way out on the top of the canvas. And now I can just sketch in like that in perspective, because the horizon is so far away. And I don't have to worry about the horizon to sketch it always in. And with that, you can just play a little bit and sketch in perspective and getting comfortable in. And if you still struggling in perspective, I highly can recommend to take every day a couple of minutes. Don't have to be every day, don't stress out, just sketch when you want to sketch. But when you're sketching, take a couple of minutes and you want to get better in perspective, to sketch a couple cubes in, for example, and to sketch them from different angles. So this is super helping. So this now looks, because I did it so many times, for me I can do it without syncing. But that's a little bit where you want to be. And I'm just doing like with the horizon on, it would just look like that. So you can also do it with the horizon. And now here I would sketch to a third vanishing point that is somewhere here. And this would be called 3-point perspective, because we have here one vanishing point, we have there one vanishing point, and we have there one vanishing point. And yeah, that's a basic start to learn perspective, to sketch these figures. If you want to get super good at perspectives, check out the book How to Draw from Scott Robertson, where he's teaching how to sketch volume. And sketching volume can give you also a super good understanding on how perspective is working, where you properly constructing volume and learn how the volume is working. I'm doing it now super rough. When then doing it for the first time, take a little bit more time to sketch this here more properly. But then, yeah, you can sketch in volume here, like that, and learn actually how volume is created in perspective, like that. And at the end, when you're feeling better and you did this a couple of times, you just can also create volume like that here in perspective, or just rotate it. Use this maybe as a guide. But yeah, that's a little bit how you learn to sketch in perspective. Little introduction. Of course, yeah, take your time, don't stress out. There are many ways to learn how to sketch in perspective. At the beginning, it can be a little bit boring or overwhelming, but it gets way more fun if you feel comfortable in it. At the end, if you then can sketch in perspective, it feels more like just using a 3D program where you can freely move around in perspective. So it's definitely worth it to yeah, stay at it and keep up the practice. And then what you can do, so now I'm just coming back to anatomy with this little perspective introduction here. You can sketch in here, for example, here a little box like that. And this box here now represents, like that, your figure here, like that. Cool. And now there you can sketch in your figure. And now you could also rotate it like that. Cool. I hope that makes sense. And with that, you could already explore a little perspective with your figure. I know I'm rushing it a little bit right now, but yeah, and then you can also practice a little bit the relationship in perspective from the upper body to the lower body. So not sketched in so clean, but the principle is the same, like that. And now you could sketch in here the rib cage, like that. The head comes here, and as you can see, I'm keeping simple shapes here, the shoulder joints, and now here I can add the hip, like that. Cool. Okay, we rushed super into perspective how to sketch things. Yeah, that's a little bit how you slowly can achieve perspective and how to get better at it. I hope that makes a little bit sense. Super cool. I was talking so much. I will now open here in the background. Maybe let me 1 or 2 studies before then finishing the stream. So I will let me quickly show you what I've opened. I opened this sketch here and do a quick study. I really like this because it's really close then to how we want to animate figures. A little bit too complex, so when animating we will keep it more simple, but later when then adding more complexity, I feel like this kind of drawing is already big help for animation. Cool, so let's try it out. Let's make things bigger here, like that. Put this figure here up, like that. Make this bigger here, make the shoulder bigger. And now also doing a simplified version from it. Put these things here, here, like that. Put this one here. And yeah, just having a little bit inspiration of the figure, of the pose. You don't always have to do a one-to-one study. Like that. And now I could always go on top of it. I sketched in my basic mannequin, and now I'm going on top of it and adding a little bit the muscles. Like that. Yeah, if you have any question, let me know. Cool. So sketching here, the figure. Now here, adding the shoulder. Super cool. Here the arm, the other shoulder, like that. So we're super speed mode today. Speed mode activated. Like that. Sketching here below the arm. Super cool. Now this one comes up here. Putting it here down. Maybe here like that. Keeping it simple. And loose. I think next week I will take a little bit more time to sketch one of these a little bit more better out. But I feel like for now it's okay to just keep it loose. Keeping it loose like that. Super cool. Almost feel like Bob Ross here. With the style I'm speaking. Super cool. Just paint a cloud. And these, paint that. But yeah. Alright. A quick one here. And maybe, yeah, a little bit more from imagination to refresh a little bit the knowledge here. So I also like to use or sketch in cup sometimes only a little bit bigger here, the rib cage and the hip. And adding here a simplification of the human body, like that. And now maybe from a different perspective, maybe from here, like that. And one thing also for me, it's late, I don't have so much time today to stream, but is to slow a little bit down. So I'm sketching a little bit too fast right now. That's something only to keep in mind. So yeah, don't rush this process here. Take your time and also enjoy it. You don't have to rush it. Like that. Cool! JPlays is asking how many frames have you done so far? So we're not animating today. I'm just did an introduction to how to learn anatomy. So we did this here. This was the first one I explained a little bit how to sketch this mannequin here. Then how to go on top of it with the muscles and how to actually learn anatomy, and showed a little couple of resources if you're skipping to the beginning of the stream. And that was the focus for today. So before then, yeah, finishing the stream today. Super fun stream. Thanks for everyone watching. This was a super quick introduction. I hope the resources helped a little bit. We will go then next week again back into animation and also, yeah, animate more frames, more stuff, more fighting action, more effects. I think maybe fire, how to animate fire, but I will see and how much time I will have next to my work. But yeah, super fun stream. Super good week in terms of learning. I wish you all a great weekend, and yeah, see you in one of the streams next week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this was not too rushed. I think it was a little bit too rushed. I speak a lot super quickly, but that's always, sometimes I have these a little bit more faster streams, but yeah, a lot of content in a short amount of time. With that, thanks for everyone again for watching. See you next week. Bye.